All right, let's jump into another deep dive. This time,
Buckle up.
we're heading over to Indonesia, where Mount Lewotobi Laki-laki.
Oh, yeah, Laki-laki, the man.
He's been making headlines lately.
Great time.
We've got two ABC News reports.
Uh-huh.
One focuses on the people affected,
Human impact.
the other on just how big this eruption is.
The scale of it.
Get ready for a sky turned red by ash,
Wow.
and thousands needing to relocate permanently.
It's a huge situation.
So, it all started Sunday night, November 5th.
Yeah, Sunday night, the first eruption.
And it hasn't really stopped since.
Nope, kept going all week. Smaller eruptions.
And then Friday, November 8th,
Friday, it really blew.
the ash cloud reached 10 kilometers high.
Can you imagine? That's
Taller than Mount Everest.
that's insane.
Yeah, this volcano, it's on Flores Island
East Nusa Tenggara province.
in Indonesia.
Right, and, it's got a twin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they call it woman.
Woman. Okay.
This one, though, the man.
He's causing all the trouble.
Oh, yeah. Sadly, 9 people have already died.
It's just tragic.
Thousands of homes are damaged.
Over 2,000 directly hit by the eruption.
Now,
They're trying to relocate everyone.
within 7 kilometers.
7 kilometers, that's a pretty big radius.
Permanently, though.
Permanently. That's the thing.
They're calling it long-term mitigation.
Can you imagine having to leave your home forever?
Start your whole life over.
Because a volcano could erupt again at any moment,
The anxiety, I can't even imagine.
and over 16,000 people live near this thing.
16,000 at least, that's what they think.
How do you even start figuring out who to move?
Where do you even put that many people?
I mean, it's just...
The head of the disaster agency said it best.
What was that?
He said, and I quote, "The volcano cannot be moved.
Oh, wow.
So it is the people who must move to safer locations."
Wow. That's pretty powerful.
That really stuck with me.
It makes you wonder, how do people live with that?
That constant threat.
I mean, I freak out over a thunderstorm,
It makes you think about Indonesia's situation.
What do you mean?
Well, they're right on the Ring of Fire.
Ring of fire? What's that?
This giant horseshoe shape around the Pacific Ocean
Okay.
and along it. All these tectonic plates are smashing together.
So the Earth's crust is basically
Yeah, constantly moving and grinding.
causing all this pressure and heat,
Exactly, leading to, well,
earthquakes and volcanoes.
lots of them.
So living in Indonesia is
Like living on shaky ground, literally.
and we're not talking just a few volcanoes.
Oh, no, Indonesia has 120 active volcanoes.
120. Seriously.
Yep. And get this, since January, 4,796 eruptions.
This year.
This year.
Hold on. Almost 5,000 eruptions in less than a year.
That's Indonesia for you.
I always pictured volcanoes as like these sleeping giants.
Most of them, they just kind of rumble a bit.
Minor eruptions, nothing major.
Right. But then you have something like Lewotobi Laki-laki.
And it's a whole different story.
It's a reminder that these things are powerful.
Yeah. And dangerous.
And that people live right next to them.
And this isn't even the first time Indonesia has dealt with this.
Oh, not even close.
Yeah.
Remember Mount Semeru in 2021?
Another big eruption, lots of damage.
And then there's Krakatau in 1883.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that one.
That wasn't just Indonesia's problem either.
What do you mean?
It actually caused global cooling.
Wow, the whole planet felt it.
Yeah, it had that much of an impact. Makes you think,
About what?
how do people live in these places?
I mean, we can rebuild homes and roads.
But how do you rebuild lives?
How do you deal with the fear?
It's a question with no easy answers.
And we're going to keep digging into it. Stick with us as we dive deeper into this eruption. We'll hear about the people who call this volcano home. We'll explore the ties they have to it. And we'll talk about the balance they strike between tradition and safety.
It's a story of resilience, loss, and the power of nature.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, no easy answers.
You got people who've lived there for generations.
Generations, their whole families.
And they're deeply connected to the land
Their roots are there.
and to the volcano itself.
The volcano is part of their lives,
It's this incredible force of nature.
that can change everything in an instant.
It's like this constant struggle between
Between tradition and needing a place to live,
and the danger of the volcano
it's always there, in the back of their minds.
and those cultural ties you mentioned.
They add another layer to it all.
What do you mean?
Well, for many people in Indonesia,
Uh-huh.
volcanoes are sacred.
Sacred. Like religious?
Yeah, they're often linked to gods or spirits.
So it's more than just geology for them.
Way more. It's a part of their beliefs.
It's about creation and destruction.
Powerful forces.
And they live right alongside it.
Imagine having to leave a place like that.
A place that's so important to you.
Not just your home, but spiritually too.
It would be like losing a part of yourself.
Exactly, and that's why it's so tricky.
You can't just tell people to move.
You have to understand their perspective,
Their connection to the land,
their history,
and work with them to find solutions,
that respect their heritage.
but also keep them safe.
It's a delicate balance, that's for sure.
Reminds me of Mount Merapi back in 2010.
Oh, yeah, Merapi.
After it erupted,
Huge
a
eruption.
lot of people didn't want to relocate.
They stayed, even though it was dangerous.
Some even went back to their villages.
Even inside the exclusion zone.
They just couldn't leave their homes.
It was more than just a place to live, you know?
It was their identity, their roots.
Exactly. So how do you bridge that gap?
How do you balance safety with tradition?
It takes a lot of effort, a lot of listening.
You have to work with the community.
Understand their concerns, their fears.
Find solutions together.
Solutions that work for everyone.
And it's not just the physical rebuilding either.
Right. The emotional toll is huge.
Losing loved ones, homes, everything you know.
That kind of trauma can take years to heal.
Are there any resources to help with that?
Yeah. Thankfully, there are organizations
Okay, good.
providing counseling, mental health services,
That's so important.
helping people cope with the aftermath.
Because it's a long road to recovery.
It is, but people are resilient, you know,
They find a way to keep going.
to rebuild, to adapt.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
And it's not just Indonesia facing this.
Right. The whole ring of fire,
Countries all around the Pacific,
dealing with earthquakes, volcanoes,
each with its own unique challenges.
but all finding ways to adapt and overcome.
It's a global issue, and climate change is a factor, too.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that, how it might be affecting things.
It's complex, but scientists are looking into it.
So we need to be prepared for the future too.
For more frequent, maybe even bigger eruptions.
That's a scary thought.
We need to be proactive, not just reactive.
So what can we do?
Well, we need more research, better understanding,
Of how it all works. Climate change, the Earth's systems.
and we need to listen to the people who live in these areas.
They have so much knowledge, firsthand experience.
They know what works, what doesn't.
It's about finding that balance again.
Between science and local wisdom,
Technology and tradition.
working together to find the best solutions.
Because we're all connected, in a way.
What happens in one part of the world?
Affects us all, eventually.
So we need to be aware, be prepared.
Even if we don't live near a volcano.
That's right, because these are global challengers.
And it makes you think, what can we do to help?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a real eye-opener for me, this eruption in Indonesia.
it really makes you think.
We can't just focus on the science, the facts.
There's so much more to it than that.
The people, their culture, the emotional impact.
It's all
They're
connected.
living with these incredible forces.
Facing danger, but also so resilient.
It's inspiring, in a way.
Absolutely. So if there's one thing you take away from this deep dive,
What would it be?
it's time to stop just reacting to disasters.
And start being proactive, you mean?
Exactly. We need to anticipate, prepare.
But how do we do that?
First, we need to understand the problem,
The science, the climate change connection,
how it all interacts.
and we need to listen to the people who are actually experiencing it.
They know what it's like to live with these threats.
They have so much knowledge to share.
About what works, what needs to change,
So it's about finding that balance again.
between science and local knowledge,
Technology and tradition.
combining them to find the best solutions.
Because in the end, we're all in this together.
This planet, it's our shared home.
What happens in one place can affect us all,
So we need to care. We need to be prepared.
even if we're far away from the danger.
These are global challenges.
This eruption in Indonesia is a wake-up call,
It shows us how vulnerable we are.
but also how resilient we could be.
We need to learn from this and take action.
We can't just sit back and watch
We need to be informed, engaged,
and work together to create a better future.
for ourselves and for future generations.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
It's been a pleasure, really.
It's been a fascinating and important conversation.
These issues deserve more attention.
And for our listeners, if you want to learn more
We've got some resources in the show notes.
about volcanoes, disaster preparedness,
And the amazing people who are facing these challenges head on.
so keep learning, keep exploring,
Stay curious about the world around you.
because your actions, no matter how small.
Can make a difference.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, stay safe and stay informed.